Today's topic, who are the kings of the North? Many, including Amir Tsarfati, claim it's Russia. However, I discovered that it's actually the European Union and NATO, the modern rebranding of the Holy Roman Empire. Hello everyone, my name is Jose Salinas, and today we're diving into this controversial topic that has caused division in the church, one with profound implication as we approach World War III. The little book in Revelation describes a kingdom that will wage war against every nation refusing to worship the image of the beast or accept a law of the United Nations that leads us to sin against God. In part one of this series, I revealed the connection between the Romans and Germans, which migrated from the ancient Babylon, making them the mystery Babylon of Revelation 17, referring to a secret kingdom that worships a dragon in secret. And I tell people that the little book Revelation, God commands every pastor to teach who this is so people will not be deceived. In this presentation, I like to add additional information. Who is the North Army, who is part of the mystery Babylon, where Satan's throne stood at one time during Revelation 2:13, mentions Satan's throne in Pergamos, which is in modern-day Turkey. However, in 1879, the Germans relocated this altar to the Pergamos Museum in Berlin, the city that led World War I, World War II, and so-called the Second and Third Reich, a revival attempt of the Roman Empire. The question remains, why are they so dear to this altar called Satan's throne, or is it a coincidence that they have taken part of all the wars in the world? Many Bible teachers, military analysts, and media outlets teach that Russia is the aggressor. The North Army prophesied to attack Israel in the last days. But my research reveals much broader picture, aligning biblical prophecy with historical evidence. Despite the attempt to reason with Bible teachers like Amir Tsarfati, they decline unless I taught their interpretation. This has raised concerns about possibly deception, whether intentional or due to lack of discernment. I urge everyone to ask their pastors to explore this topic without bias. Understanding the truth, it's critical before the great apostasy mentioned in 2 Peter chapter 3 unfolds. We must avoid praying for the wrong side. Historical and biblical evidence clearly identify the North Army that worships the dragon, Satan, and is responsible for millions of deaths for 2,000 years. I say Revelation 13 identifies the European Union as the revived Holy Roman Empire, the Roman beast that enforced its laws and image on nations. Later, I will show you maps that make the connections, but for starters, I like to mention a few timelines. In 63 BC to 476 AD was the rise and fall of the Roman Empire, per Revelation 12. And from 325 to 431, the Roman Empire used the ecumenical councils to deceive nations into believing it was holy, per Revelation 13. And in 800 to 1806, for 1,000 years, the Holy Roman Empire revived and killed millions who refused to obey the Roman Church, as prophesied in Revelation 13. In logic, this explains why many hate Christianity without realizing the little book of Revelation warned about a false and true Christian or church. And this is my main reason I traveled to 10 countries to compare 6,000 years of history to confirm who was who. In this slide, we will compare the map of the European Union to what could be seen as the revived Holy Roman Empire described in Revelation 13. This modern empire exercise more military power than ever before because it controls NATO, an alliance that promised to protect the world from another world after World War II. However, NATO is the very name revealed in its true nature, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, an international military alliance of 32 states controlled by the EU, particularly Germany, the same nation that instigated both World War I and World War II. Alarming, Germany's media openly declares its plan to rearm to confront Russia as World War III. This slide explores the vast influence of the Mystery Babylon, as identified in Revelation 17:4. The kingdom was dressed in precious laws to seduce many. The great harlot is a system that promises everything we want to hear: freedom, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Yet the fine print of the United Nations website reveals the troubling truth that law number 5 leads people into sin against God, and law number 10 causes division, knowing that a divided kingdom cannot stand before the beast, and law number 16 plans to disarm the masses, echoing Nazi strategy. Despite this, many dismiss the United Nations as conspiracy theory. However, the United Nations is a global economic government that has deceived 193 of 195 nations since 2011, while NATO expands on a false notion and the EU prepares for World War III. Factually, it's another German war. These are 7 key truths. 1, Revelation 17 told it. 2, watchmen avoided it. 3, historians reported it. And 4, geopolitics analyzed it. And 5, World News amplify it. And 6, the United Nations website signifies it. And 7, good pastors warn their flock while others remain silent, called dumb dogs, per Isaiah 56:10. Many do not realize the United Nations represents the first beast kingdom, while the Roman Church is the second beast, as explained in my YouTube videos. The United Nations formed in 1945 after World War II, with 51 countries offering promises of free trade. Now, it controls 193 nations. Revelation 13:4 describes its power. Who is like the beast who can wage war against it? And Revelation 13:16-17 warns that no one could buy or sell or trade unless they accept the laws of the kingdom. This referring to the law number 5, which lead to sin against God. But Revelation 17:16 offers hope. 10 nations will come out of her and destroy her. This slide calls for prayer for both Ukrainians and Russians, especially those in Ukraine. NATO is using them like an inside genocide by sending fair-minded Ukrainians and Russian speakers to the front line for the slaughter. This map highlights the New World Order expansion. According to prophecy, the United Nations and NATO will attempt to force Russia to submit to its laws by 2030. Following this, it will target Israel after the third temple is built. However, Revelation 20, verse 9 provides hope. Fire from heaven will destroy the beast and nations who refuse to come out of the great harlot. Understanding Daniel's prophetic visions is critical. My website includes a parallel scroll chart illustrating Daniel's vision of 4 kingdoms in 5 different ways. Easy to understand on a scroll parallel chart. Daniel chapter 2 describes 4 empires uniting nations to enforce the law of the beast. The 4th empire was prophesied to revive and destroy the earth, and it's depicted as a two legs of iron, representing Romans and Germans, both militaristic powers linked to the dragon. Revelation 13 and 17-18 provides wisdom. Let the one with understanding calculate the number of the beast. 666. The simple answer is that the entire book of Revelation, which is the sequel to Daniel, warns us of the 4th beast. Plus, both Romans and Germans contain the word man, and both have been in all the wars since the little book was written. Yet, Daniel chapter 7 connects the symbols used by ancient Babylon, like the cross and the lightning rod, to modern emblems, and including Ukrainian military logos. Likewise, the European Union adopts similar imagery. Please check out my basic history charts on my website. You'll find these 3 charts under the church history 2,000 years section. This chart will help you understand the question: who can make war with the bloody beast? Revelation 13:4. And in this new North Army causing World War III. These maps and charts make it easy to see how the Roman Empire has influenced history and why it's called the Bloody Beast. They're like a puzzle that helps you piece together the story. Remember, history is important and maps can tell us a lot. Like they say, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Yet, next I will break them down in sections to help you match them up. First, let's travel back 2,000 years to learn about the Roman Empire. The top map shows the rise of the Roman Empire. It started around 63 BC and became powerful by 117 AD, forming an alliance like in the book of Daniel, Ezekiel, and Revelation by pushing Pax Romana, promising peace and freedom, but only if people followed their laws. Those who did not could not buy or sell or trade, which what Revelation 13 warned us about. The bottom map shows the empire split around 312 AD as leaders fought over who would control Rome. The top map shows the Byzantine Empire, also called the New Rome, from 330 to 1453. Here are some key events. In 325, Emperor Constantine created the Ecumenical Councils to mix Roman laws with God's laws, fulfilling a prophecy in Daniel that it would trample the word of God. In 380 AD, Catholicism became the official religion of the Roman Empire through the Edict of Thessalonica. In 431, the Eastern and the Western Christians divided over calling Mary the Queen of Heaven. This title had led ancient Israel into trouble during the First Temple because God allowed the Babylonians destroy it because they set the image of the beast inside the temple. Fast forward to 476 AD. The bottom map shows while Rome divided the Frankish Empire, united German nations, and conquered Rome, this marked the fall of the Roman Empire. The following map will help you connect the dots. These charts show 4 times Rome tried to revive its empire. These attempts are called the Reichs, a German word for empire. A key pattern: the state caused the church to deceive people, symbolized by the eagle, single or double-headed. When the state got strong enough, it pushed the church aside and took over. Example: the First Reich, the Holy Roman Empire, 800 to 1806, combined the church and state. Later, in 1806, the French united the European nations and took the war to a whole different level, wanted to expand its territory eastward, and came to his end when it attacked Russia in 1812, because they would not accept the laws of the beast. Let's look at the big picture, and I will help you connect the dots by comparing the 4 Reichs and how each ended. First, the First Reich, 800 to 1806, the Holy Roman Empire war led to the French wars and ended when it came against Russia. Second Reich, 1815, 1871, the German unification led to World War I, 1914 to 1918, ended when it came against Russia. Third Reich, 1920, 1945, the League of Nations bought time for the Germans to prepare for World War II, 1939 to 1945, and ended when it came against Russia. Now, the Fourth Reich, I call this the most obvious. From 1945 to present, the United Nations is following the same path, buying time for the Romans and the Germans with the Franks to rearm World War III. The pattern: each unification led to a Reich referring to a major war with Russia, which refuses the laws of the beast kingdom per Revelation 13. First, the first unification, let me show you the big picture. The first unification led to European Union wars. The second unification led to World War I. The third unification will lead to World War III because the little book tells us what's next according to Revelation 17:12-17. It has started. The 10 nations will rise from the United Nations and turn against the beast. They will destroy it, fulfilling God's prophecy. Most believe the final battle will happen after the third temple is built in Jerusalem. The beast will attack Israel, but Revelation 20, verse 9 tells us God will step in and send fire from heaven to destroy the beast. Why this matters? These four comparison charts show how history repeats itself and reveals the North Army causing today's conflict. Please leave a comment if these charts help you to see the big picture. Here, something interesting to think about. By looking at the flags of the empire or unification over the past 2,000 years, you'll notice a pattern. The three nations, Rome, Germany, and France, are always involved in wars. The part of the European Union today. The book of Daniel predicted this, describing the kings of the north who made war with nations. Revelation 13, 1-3 also talks about the beast. The first beast kingdom was like a leopard, its feet were like a bear, and mouth like a lion. Revelation 13:4 asks the obvious question: who can make war with the great beast or the great harlot? This refers to the nation that united to force the laws of the beast that go against God. Or if you compare the logos of the United Nations, European nations, and NATO with the ancient Babylon religious symbols from 2500 to 539 BC, you'll notice similarities. These should make you think about Mystery Babylon and how secretly worships the dragon. At first, I wasn't convinced either, but after seeing images of dragons in both the United Nations and the Roman Church, I was shocked. Revelation 17:7 explains this feeling. The angel said, "Why did you marvel? I will tell you the secret of the church and the state that protects her. One day, I'll share all the photos I found, including the dragon or the swastikas inside the Vatican. You'll be amazed to see how these symbols connect to the prophecy of Revelation." As I'm finishing my presentation, I encourage you to explore more by checking out my YouTube playlist called 7 Tips to Understand Revelation Chapter 13. Each video will help you confirm who is the beast that pastors are commanded to warn their congregation so they will not run trouble when the events begin. Take a look at my website gallery charts, which I update regularly. One of the most helpful charts is titled, "Who is the Bloody North Army?" This title shows how the beast caused wars for the last 2,000 years. This visual will help you connect the dots and understand who the North Army is. For many people, maps make it clear who the aggressors are. This chart is part of my collection, Who is the North Army? Expanding, causing World War III in the little book of Revelation. Why do I call them North Army? Because in part 1 of this series showed how the EU and NATO are like the ancient Babylonians and Romans who attacked God's temples from the north, and on my Who is the Image of the Beast videos, I explained why. Most importantly, Revelation 17:12-16 tells us 10 nations will rise out of the United Nations and confirms that God will be with the kings of the East to bring justice against the kings of the West, who have deceived people for 2,000 years into worshiping the image of the beast or accept the laws of the beast. Final thoughts. Please pray for the United States to come out of her. After the 2024 elections, I hope there will be a shift because we just saw more conservatives than liberals stand against the United Nations, EU, and NATO, especially when they see the truth laid out in these charts. I urge you to please ask your pastors to teach you about the little book of Revelation and to compare my maps. These maps show that the United Nations is the great harlot mentioned in Revelation 17, and the European Union is the most dangerous because while the United Nations is pushing precious stones or the 17 goals or laws by 2030, the EU controls NATO, which is rearming for World War III. And let this sink in. Every time European nations united, they made war against those who refused to accept the laws or the image of the beast. I encourage everyone to study the Holy Roman Empire, 1,000-year slaughter of the nations, and understand how the popes blessed the German emperors with the sword against those who refused to obey the Roman Church. If pastors have never been taught Revelation or has been misled, considering helping them gain understanding. If your pastor avoids discussing these topics, it could be because they are sleeping with the beast, being paid, or as described in Isaiah 56, 10-12, a dumb dog neglecting to protect his flock. A godly shepherd guards his flock and does not look away while the beast prepares to slaughter them. Two simple questions to ask your pastors. One, why have all four Reichs made war with Russia? Prophetic answer. Russia has consistently refused to worship the image of the Roman Church that began during the ecumenical councils in 325, or the laws of the United Nations, which leads people to sin against God. Two, who was the beast and the secret Babylon who worships the dragon during the first century? Clear answer. The beast was the Roman Empire, which fell in 476 AD and revived with a new name that all of a sudden it became holy in the 800s. But it blessed the Germans with the sword to kill millions and has now been renamed again, the European Union. Yet some spew the beast, or the North Army is Russia, but Russia did not exist as an empire until the 1800s. With this slide, I want to encourage you to read my first book, The Book of Revelation in Scroll View, Volume 1. It's a cross-reference book that explains how I discovered that Revelation has 7 endings, like if John wrote 7 separate parts. I also like to ask to donate to my cause as I prepare to release my second book, The Little Book of Revelation, that emphasizes how John was instructed to warn every nation, tribe, and leaders per Revelation 10, 8-11. It's a pure it's the pure book of Revelation. It's about 25 pages written plainly with headings and subheadings made affordable so we can give freely to those in need. The goal is to ask people if they ever read or understood the little book that gives us hope about heaven and tells us who is the beast's kingdom causing World War III. Or donate so I could give out scroll charts designed to make Revelation easy to understand. Here how it works. Each time you unroll one of the 7 sections, it reveals additional details about the judgment and who is causing World War III. And the best part, it ends 7 times telling us about heaven. This doesn't mean you're going to heaven 7 times, but there is one timeline. Basically, chapters 1-3 are the warnings to the pastors. Chapters 4-7 tell us the 7-seal judgment. And chapters 8-22 are parenthetical and glossary chapters that help us understand the prophecy. To wrap this up, let me remind you of today's main topic. Who are the kings of the north? That I created to share with your pastors, especially if they've been taught it's Russia. But I've shown that it's actually the European Union and NATO who is causing World War III. Before we finish, here's how you can support my ministry. 1, give me a like to help my channel. 2, subscribe to my channel so you won't miss my next video where we discuss the beast and the coming third temple in Jerusalem. 3, donate to my ministry. Your support will help me travel the world to share the little book of Revelation. As a thank you, I'll give you one of my books or charge to help you with your studies per my website recommendations. Finally, I pray that God gives you wisdom, understanding, and boldness to seek the truth and share the hope that we have in heaven. God bless you.